Waiting for Ryan. I'm going to invite him again. It seems to always confuse me how this works. Let him know. Did you get the invite? I'm live. I don't seem to. Oh, there he is. Yep. I see his little light art logo. I love that one. Still coming in. He's connecting now. We're going to be talking about where students are with their status. I'm going to show, we asked students in my last section to kind of review their place. Class, at this midpoint, and we're going to be asking students to look back at their plans. I have to find.
Hey, man.
Hey, there you are. How's it going? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Can you hear me, Ryan?
I can't hear.
Oh, I thought so.
Connection on my end.
Here, I'll send a message. There it is. I see audio meters on my end.
Kind of a technical problem. I'm wondering if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Wi-Fi. And yeah. Check. See. Sound okay on YouTube. Still figuring this stuff out per usual, which it's a futzing. We're futzing with the tech. That's what we do. Oh, let's see if I have some other technical difficulties videos I can show you. Here we go. Last time I had, let's see. Oh, you can hear me. Let's see. Okay. So if I can connect again. Let's see. In the meantime, how do I do this? Okay. Let's say oh, that's about me. You're back.
Ah, there we go. Hey.
Good. Oh, I was about to show, my video of me with the shaved head. So phew, we saved ourselves that one.
Nice.
I'll have to show you that one another day.
Okay. So we've got a special treat here today. I've got the official old school first Skype headphone set
Oh, nice.
on. They scammed my wife and I into purchasing these when they first came out, I guess like 2007 or something like that.
Well,
And these things work like a charm. They're fantastic. They're so bad that they're actually hip now.
Yeah, you look like you're ready for some 1990s tech support, or or maybe like customer service center. So, or maybe you could be the. I was just reading. I listened to a Planet Money podcast about debt collectors. So you could put on your mean face and say, "Give me the money."
It's interesting, Michael, because after dealing with the CT101 class, I wanted to talk to you about some home business opportunities.
Yes.
Yikes.
Have you been responding to the spam that says, "Gee, you've been so insightful. I see this blog post is so insightful.
Yeah,
There's some ways that we can improve your search."
I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah.
Automatic delete into the spam folder, but it hasn't been too bad though. I was expecting worse.
Yeah.
We're pretty good on that front so far.
Yeah. So how are you feeling? I was looking for something with the students that I did in my last section.
Cool.
I've been away though. I was in Missouri for the past 4 days.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I put a few photos up on my Flickr. I was learning to walnut pick. We have old friends that have a farm out there, and they have like 68 retiree horses.
Damn, nice.
Yeah, and so we were running around and four-wheeling.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was just kind of interesting to be in a very different space and get to photograph a few things, which is that, keep it going.
I will check out your Flickr stream for sure.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot there, but other than that, and I also lost my computer right before I left too. So that's part of the reason I was stuck with a little loner for a bit, and so I was kind of disconnected for the first 3 days. Other than I just got it. I got it back. I was having RAM issues, so I had to fork out the $330 myself to get the logic board replaced. Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes, man.
I'm trying to get reimbursed by the college, but so it goes,
Okay, I hear you.
So,
how
do you think about your students and their mid-progress results so far?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about with kind of last week's, with this Monday's class being off and so forth. I was thinking of putting together a blog post about that, but I guess that we're talking right now. I wanted to ask you how you were going about that.
Yeah, well, here, let me show you something I did with the students. Let's see, screen share. There it is. Got it. So let me try this. It'll be better if I do this. I'll make it bigger.
There's a couple of things I wanted to also post. I got a post going. It's still in a draft, but it introduces the the Gift the Portrait project.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
So I wanted to post that as a potential series of assignments that can be used to get involved with that, but also this the mid-semester reflection post about how to go about what can be included or what should be included, or
right.
Getting a discussion going about being able to basically kind of organize all of this content that, that they're starting to notice that's showing up, working on 2 or 3 different things every week.
Right.
Before you know it, you're moderating and administrating, over, 15 different blog posts and a couple of pages, and that starts to build up.
Yeah.
Whereas when they were dependent on the CT101 blog, you'd see your name and a couple of things you were doing, but now it's, they're starting to build a significant amount of content on their individual pages, and just kind of going back and reflecting over what has been done and finding contrasts in what has changed in that process, whether it's starting to recognize a particular style or technique that's used over and over again, or having a contrast of how improvements have been made, and putting that all into a post as well.
Right.
So, and I'm very big on that. I do this with almost every class I teach across the board, even in basics, applied arts studio classes. Everybody does a mid-semester and also a final assessment into a written format, but I've never done it in this capacity, which is really nice, where they could, use this as a digital storytelling project as well, where if there are, GIF animations that could, supplement reactions and so forth, this would be a good place to be able to do that, but also to put it into a written format that's really clear for them to say, okay, I've made improvements on this particular thing, or I'm still having trouble with this, or I can't get things to look the way that I want them to on the back end, I need more instruction or more advisement on this particular thing. So that would be really helpful, not only for me, but I think for us and just, the course in general, if we could find a collective series of pros and cons so far.
Right. No, what would be fun is
I see you posted some.
Yeah. Oh, Sarah, I'll put it back on. So last week, what I had done, and I asked the students to work through this document and just, for every single post they did, just put the title of it and then check off the things that were there in each post, and then for each post, say whether it was a reflection or whether it was a digital storytelling post, right? And then check off these things correspondingly with each one. With the blogging in general, what showed off is definitely like contextual links were, they all saw that they weren't really referencing, their stuff. And subsequently, I think some in the recent posts have seen more hyperlinking going on, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're also seeing like some students would literally have only 4 of these, 4 total posts. That means whether they're reflections or digital storytime assignments, they'd only done like 4. And I think there's still some students that are kind of lingering in that space, wondering when are they going to tell me I'm doing really badly? And so they were, in terms of the quantity of work and how can we. So they kind of saw that, and it was kind of interesting. I asked the people that had fewer than 5 posts, if you had like fewer than 5 or fewer, to pair off with the people that had, say 6 or more.
Yep.
And so I think that made them a little more self-aware of, of what's going on in the class, and I think we could possibly do some of that stuff with respect to their sites as well, and say like, hey, is it still a sample page? Have they worked on the header? Have they, really played with the theme and stuff like that? But I think the context in which to do that, which you're describing, is even better, which is where am I struggling still, and am I able to describe how and why?
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, simply, is it because you don't understand some of these visual assignments, or you're not feel comfortable enough with the tools to do them? I mean, kind of let us know, and that I think that stuff could be included in what you're describing. I think that would be great.
Absolutely. That's that's certainly that kind of clarity. I think just kind of having the student write it out is, for one, that forces them to take responsibility.
Right.
For addressing, that this is actually something that needs to be troubleshot, beyond my own research on the web. And I think across my sections, what I've noticed is it's pretty much split between people that are really self-sufficient,
right,
and have really taken off on this, where they've customized quite a bit, and they're really self-sufficient and discovering things on their own. And we've had some dialogues one-on-one, back and forth with email. But then there's the other half that's just kind of, I think they are waiting for me to approach them by email saying, that you still haven't, you're still using a default theme that still has, the default post that's there, or the default comment that needs to be removed.
right,
And that's something we have to address. But at the same time, that's we can do that in class, of course. And this coming week, I've got a small list of people that I do need to talk to about that. And I don't know if it's because, and one other thing it makes me start to think is that they're not fully reading the calendar,
right,
of what's being posted. That they're thinking in terms of like this past week, because we didn't have class on Monday.
yeah,
They're thinking, because there's no class, I don't have to look at anything until the following Sunday night before class, and then I'll just get on it when I get into class.
right.
So that kind of dichotomy is split, across the board that way. And I also think that there's some people that think that, okay, if we don't have to do every assignment, then I don't have to look at the calendar every week, because I can just kind of, post things as I go along with it, and make sure I hit a certain number of points by the end of the semester, and I still have 7 weeks to do that.
Yeah, but there are. I mean, I think the thing they're not remembering is you can't do 20 posts in a week.
No way.
It's not even. I mean, in terms of for the purposes of the grading in the class, that's not even allowed.
Nope.
So I don't know. I mean, these are interesting, self-efficacy kinds of questions. And how do you, if you really are interested, it's like, how do you build that within the students?
I think it comes down to self-assessment, where a blog post should be made on their site publicly. Where I am at so far. What's been accomplished, and what's successful about that, and what hasn't been accomplished yet, and needs troubleshooting. And there should be, and I'm thinking two aspects of that. One is the technical aspect of that, with the actual software itself and the themes, and understanding the overall administering of using the theme itself. And then there is the other aspect of the quality and content that they're posting about, and how that's developing. If everyone's posts, or if you've got 5 or 6 posts and they're all just 4 sentences with a hyperlink and one little image, is that evolving, or is that just an easy way to fulfill the assignment?
Yeah, I mean.
So I'm wondering if, and I'm sorry, I'm just rambling.
No, I'm just wondering how. Well, that's an interesting one into itself. I mean, even with people that are, getting a lot of fair amount of productivity out of their sites and putting things up, but they're, how do you encourage them to investigate more deeply in the the particular post or the content in which they're putting out there, instead of, checking off the boxes and then hitting publish. Is there anything that comes to mind? I mean, I have a thought, but I was curious of what you were thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking this Monday in class, I'd really like to have everybody pull their sites up and actually have a discussion about it with the class. Like, I'll let them come in and get set up, maybe around between 10:30 and 12. I'd really like to have people pull their sites up and be able to show, what's the most successful thing that's happened so far, where they feel the most comfort, and then show us, where they're struggling and what kind of problems that they're having. This way I could form some kind of a collective, consensus of, I'm having trouble with this, and if, once one person says that, if 7 or 8 other people say I'm having the same issue, then we can really start to kind of troubleshoot, what the common threads are.
Okay, maybe I'll come into your class on Monday morning if that's okay with you too.
Awesome, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can see that as well,
Absolutely.
and I can work on some reflection stuff. I'm still really looking to read. I haven't had the time, or I didn't have the internet access over the past 4 days to read Mariana's content, or at least some of it.
Yeah, me too.
And see how I'm hoping it might influence our thinking, as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's brought up a lot of really great information, and just the overall understanding of the psychology that goes behind what people are thinking about, and what some of the collective common issues are in this process. Because it's kind of like a breaking away from the dependence of having your teachers there, and it's even a little bit less passive when you only meet once a week and the majority of the class is taking place in your own private space. So that is pretty non-traditional for the way that most students are interacting with their teachers and their classes.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's new, and it's really it's a fascinating process. It really is, to just be able to kind of troubleshoot while in process. I'm finding I really enjoy that. I'm really enjoying that process of interacting, kind of sight unseen sometimes, where I'll get a message and I can just respond right away to a message.
Yeah.
In terms of giving a suggestion for getting a GIF to animate via my phone and so forth. But then at the same time, you get to your computer and you get on your laptop, and you can really take a deeper look into what's working and what's not as well. So there's definitely an interesting whole series of just the mechanics of what can be done just mobile, and then also feeling this otherness when you don't have internet access. Like I was on Fire Island for the weekend, and we didn't have internet access. Like goes on vacation mode and everything else, and even my 3G service out there is just not great.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've got 2 whole days of I've got some questions coming in and I can't fully answer them because I can't see.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I need to troubleshoot across the board, and of course it's weekend, and I should probably just be focusing on relaxing and separating from from this. But at the same time, it captures my interest because I really enjoy the process of being and the convenience of being able to do that. So when that's kind of taken away, it's a whole other interesting psychology. Like, great, I got to wait until Sunday night to address some of these questions as well. But then again, hey, having some separate time away from just being able to respond immediately, you kind of think more about it too.
Yeah, true.
So it's an interesting tension, this past week, and then not having class on Monday, I felt as if at the same time, oh boy, I wonder if anybody's going to get anything done, because if we don't have class, they're just going to wait until a following other week. So that'd be great if you came in on Monday. I think that would be a nice way for us to collectively address some of these questions, and even, make it a mandatory assignment to craft the mid-semester assessment along with the template that you've shown.
Yeah, I'll send that to you so you can, and I'll put it up too as a PDF, because my students have seen it. But I'll put it up on the site, and as a PDF, because that and it's good because they can write on the back. They used it on the back too. You can to work on things if they had more posts than, because it really is like 8.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, I saw a lot of it, and the other one that was a common theme amongst all the students when they looked at their own work this way, they saw that. Invariably, I think pretty much every single student had more reflection posts than digital storytelling assignments.
Yeah.
So they're really, in a lot of ways, still just focusing on exactly what the professor's telling them to do. Like, oh, the calendar says do this and this.
Right.
And not and ignoring this continual kind of and I think the thing that to me it's like I think that for people that practice the arts and production and all sorts of stuff, a part of it, the compulsion is like an itch, right? You're just like, I haven't made something in a while. It's driving me crazy. I need to make something, right? And so that would be an interesting way of thinking about it as well.
Yeah.
How do you foster that kind of a compulsion? I think some of it can come from, the inspired moment of like when there's a collective action. So like say we did gift the portrait, and we worked out in the class and everybody was doing their portrait gifting, like similar to what you've done in your 2D class where you have the clippings and all that kind of stuff. But that's still very much because we're hosting the party.
Exactly.
And so they're investigating and finding their own parties or hosting their own parties, if you will, around creating things or just finding that itch. I don't know which is most important, or one of the things maybe it'd be interesting to compel them to find ways as small groups or partners to have like a circular kind of compulsion party, if you will.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe a mandatory class collaboration project is necessary in a sense that being my class and your class, like we can certainly create a theme, but having the whole class participate in the crafting of examining or expressing a feeling, a philosophy, or an idea that they can all contribute to. Collectively might be a nice direction for them to go in. So excellent. Would be a nice direction for them to go in with that as well. So, but I agree with you. I think there is it's how do you activate that itch to want to create something without being pushed to do it, that it naturally sets in. And I've been thinking about this a little bit too, in a sense that the practice is absolutely necessary, especially at this point, 7 weeks of thinking about this and practicing this. That I also wonder if there is some kind of just like if there's a little bit too much self-judgment about, well, I've got this idea, but is it good enough for me to post it onto my blog page where it's public and everybody can see it? What if somebody comments on it that they don't like it, or they comment on it that?
Get out your car.
Oh, okay. So I'm blocking her in the driveway.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, I'll see you on Monday though.
So okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's
thinking
perfect.
about that one. I like your line of thinking on that.
Cool.
And
So, but I think also, it's also good for us to, of course, to post this video, but to have this discussion in class with the students would be really great as well.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Signing off.
All right, man. Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.